afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, hero of the Reich, defender of the fatherland. Off here to a 1 vs 1 on Halbe. There's the north, we got 14 here fighting for the Wehrmacht to Germany, Deutschland, a top 100 Wehrmacht player that can't quite remember the specific rank, fighting here for Germany. The 6th Panzer Division. There's in the south, we got Artem 89 fighting for the Soviet Union, the motherland, taking on the role here of the 15th Tank Corps. He's the top, well, close to top 100, I think it's like rank 109. He's from Russia. We got close air support here, mechanized assault, and Ostrom for fortune with Panzerfaust infantry, including one for fast production, bulletin of infantry versus NKVD, counterattacking the Lend-Lease, slightly makes the meta not so meta with double infantry and penal trooper bulletins there. Going for a double contract slot there. Looks like no sign of special rifle command, which allows them to get out on the field fast and seize territory. Fortune moving down the centre of the Grenadiers. No, the Pioneers, the MD42, the Grenadiers seem to be moving eastwards. So he's going to try and secure the centre there, but not make any overt movement towards the fuel points. We got sandbags going down there as well. Setting up for defensive position there. So he's clearly sort of trying to establish an anchor point here we can sort of, fight around from and just make it harder for Artem to move about here, since this map is very open in a way. So if you can sort of try and establish any of those points, you can sort of make it harder for your opponent to move about freely. Special Rifle Command going out there for Artem 89, who has played their game a lot. I have no specific idea as to who he is. So I have some theories as to who he is. I have theories. Player known as DFS Crow and Captain Molo, particularly known for some rather cunning yet very brutal tactics and strategies. We got Morgan is away there though for Fortune. He actually is going straight for Scout. He's just aiming for a lot of mobility in the early game, which can be quite efficient, in particular in a map that even as small is very open, so that can actually give Fortune some problems. In particular, since right now he's actually scattered out very thinly, so a Scout car there with some Russian infantry could really give Fortune a headache. And there you go, he goes for close air support. That's interesting. You rarely see that one anymore. It used to have its heyday, thanks to back when you could just convert fuel for munitions, just spam the abilities here. But now with that change to a supply drop zone ability, it's not quite as just easy to utilize. Still, I think, pretty potent, but now you sort of have to think a bit more about what you're doing. Still, close air support here from the German army, 6th Panzer Division, receiving a Stuka Schwerpunkt to provide support here for offensive operations against the Russians. More Grenadiers on the way for Fortune, more contracts for Artem 89, and we got here the M3A1 there ready to punish the fascists. Pioneers slightly falling back there, Grenadiers moving westwards, M42 remaining in centre. Eastern point is secured by the Grenadier. And there you go, contract squad inside the M3A1, forming up a mobile group that can that way overwhelm any fascists isolated on their own with no real support. And of course the question is, will Fortune be expecting this, because it is a reasonably rare tactic that, again, if utilised well, actually pretty potent. I like using it myself, for example. I switch it out there for the even nasty combo, which is flamethrowers. So later in the game, you haven't even submachine guns, they can also be pretty effective in the scout cover. There you go. Go straight here for the MD42, gonna punish it quite easily. There's the flamethrower, does extra damage to units in heavy cover. Catching off guard Fortune in the center, leaving his machine gun there. Guard was all of a sudden a mistake. He's now being punished here by Artem 89, and the Russians is now following up with the Grenadiers. Panzerfaust goes off, damages the engine, but still, Fortune center defense is in disarray as Artem's men heroically throw themselves at the Germans, but he needs to abandon the scout car off with the engineers unless he risks losing them. But still, he's going to try and go for the MD42. He's going to pull it off there. He's going to force retreat there for Fortune, collapsing the centre defence now utterly. Even a small chance of getting the MD42. Oh, there you go, pops up before the Grenadiers get off. Another Panzerfaust. Grenadiers squad there, run off. Scout car abandoned, and he retreats. He retreats right in front of it. Oh dear, Artem could actually repair the scout car and put it back in action here versus Fortune. But there you go, engineers are suppressed here, but the base defence of the MD42 suppresses them, buying him just perhaps enough time there. But still, I think he's going to try and repair the scout car, get in back in action. There you go. In fact, he's recruiting it, but the engine is completely busted, and his engineers are pinned down the car. So he has to try and... He'd probably better off just trying to push the car down there, but obviously he can't. Still, very aggressive push there by Artem, catching Fortune off guard, nailing over the Grenadier squad there to push in. But there you go. Now Grenadiers and moving hit there again. He made a mistake with engineers, but I mean, it is a common mistake because some of these machine gun bunkers actually extend very far into the net where you wouldn't expect it. That's actually something that bugs me with some of the maps. They're like, you're suddenly, oh, I'm being suppressed by a base machine gun. That's not how it's supposed to work. So I can understand there why Artem was caught off guard. But he should, I think, just prioritize, just repairing the bloody scout car rather than going anywhere else for the engineers. But yeah, there you go. kaput. So that was pretty interesting there. We got Pimps now riding for Artem 89. Sadly, he didn't try and say follow up with another scout or anything like that. And now he didn't actually manage to secure so much territory. I think he's got to focus on trying to secure the point as well as base rather than just secure the rest of the map there. So that also feels like it was a slight mistake there for Artem, but still, that earned him some momentum. A bit of breathing space. Meanwhile, their Fortune there has ticked up. Like to make a nice company will be able to get a bunker up there for Fortune and the 6th Panzer Division. A second scout car for Artem and the 15th Tank Corps. Pimps was moving up there with SPT-40. Pimps was made up of generally soldiers who had not disobeyed or obeyed orders in different ways. For example, tank crews after 1942 were specifically instructed that they could only abandon their tanks that were actually on fire. If they abandoned it before that, they would usually be court-martialed and thus be dispatched to the penal troopers. That's a sort of more specific example I have of sort of, you know, men being sent to penal units. So that's a little fun fact there. But there you go, second scout car there for Artem 89. Then he's bringing up fire from the SVT-40 wielding Strafniki. You might want to send some forces eastward and secure territory there from Fortune, who pops. Not the Grenadiers back in there, that's good. I was about to say he popped back the MD-42 there. I can't help but feel Fortune is sort of missing out on something. So we've got the infantry there roaming about looking for targets. And there you go, finding it, it's the Pioneers. Unsupported, easy prey. So there you go, some mobile raid tactics, but there you go, Fortune being with the counter here, the 222, which will certainly lock down any mobile raid tactics there from the M301. Infantry may up support though. He has anti-tank as well to support there as well. Very good, very good. And we've got nothing else further besides medics for Artem. No doctrine. Not securing territory so far, looking just clearing the field, but there you go, scout counter 5 from the 2 needs to get the engineers out. Oh, he's not able to. There you go, just in the nick of time. But he loses another scout car this time without doing too much damage. And now MD-42 now holding up the counter-burst advance there from Artem, who has yet to go for doctrine. And a rough grenade straight into the midst of the conscripts, causing severe losses. Petrov, Pushkin, and Pavlov all dead. But there you go, Pimps now flanking the MD-42, taking advantage of the Messier in the center to catch the MD-42 off guard. Comfortably holding back the 2-2 and the Indians attack from the other side. Here they're going, MD-42 being pushed back, and the Grenadiers right as well. But Artem has been cut off from his fuel here by Fortune's furious fighting. Up here, reinforcement going on, healing as well. He's already taken up there for a supporting company already. That's very good. Some players seem to be a bit slack there. Of course, you can't build it right away, but just having it ready as well means you just can build it when you actually didn't have the resource and just focus on it. So I think that's a very good move there by Fortune. 2-2 though, rolling head, autocannon and cracks machine gun blast together, home to get a wipe. We got more penal troops on the way for Artem and the 15th Tank Corps, but not before one of the squads is wiped out here by the 2-2-2. Note this is from the Eastern Front Panzer Division skin or something like that. You can purchase it by in the in-game store. Has some fun details. For example, most of the vehicles or tanks they actually have tactical markings for the units in the German on the front there. For example, that's for reconnaissance, right? The armored cars. Little fun note there. Very fun detail as well, which was actually common, I believe, on most German vehicles, or at least some of them, depending on the unit. They sort of applied the tactical marking to the front of the vehicle, so you can still tell where they belong to. Teams are pushed back by the 2-2. Bit of a loss there for Artem, who's also got no engineers. Fortune rapidly re-establishing control there for the fatherland and the 6th Panzer Division. PTRS rifles up there. MD-42 back in the center. He's probably not thinking there's going to be another scout car to rush it. Artem has yet to go for a doctrine, but he's at least now pushing harder towards these there. More troops setting out. He's going for more anti-tank rifles. Light machine gun fire there as the conscripts. Nice shooting, Otto, but I prefer if you actually killed some. And there goes Sapoma Crop for Fortune again. So he's got on the 9mm marker, Sapoma Crop again. He's ready. He's not specifically rushing for it, but he's just ready for it. So when the time comes, he can just, you know, get armor out there. So that's pretty good there by Fortune. That is pretty good. Definitely something that some players they could certainly learn a lot from. Pimps are then moving ahead, engaging the Grenadiers from several sides. Conscript joining in as well, catching them sort of more nasty crossfire. Very good work there by Artem. Corralling Fortune's Grenadiers there away. They've got an force up to hold up the penal troopers. They try to advance there, go into the midst of the road and quickly suppressed. There's been flanked by penal troopers and conscripts. Grabbing the fuel point here in the far east. Taking losses there, but still pushing onwards. Beyond the outer far there, go roughing it off. Need to be careful with the conscripts. Need to be very careful. And there go the Infotech retreat here. Fortune does not try to reposition it. But actually might allow the penal troopers to get slowly suppressed. Well, there's a chance of another conscript white for Artem. Who's actually going for more penal troopers. But there you go. 2 to right from the penal troopers with the PTS rifles. Could suffer some loss of damage there. Didn't quite wipe the Grenadiers there. Probably had them focus firing this. It also meant the 2-2 didn't suffer as much damage as it could. Now the East has fallen conclusively into the hands of Artem and the 15th Tank Corps, and he's going for more penal troopers. He's going for an infantry build, which clearly indicates I think he's aiming for some kind of call-in strategy, which again further indicates he is who I think he is. We got either counterattack tactics or lend-lease. I mean, lend-lease or counterattack sort of increases being utilized for some players. Generally, you know, you can get the KD up faster than the M40 Sherman, but sort of long-term, the K1 isn't quite as good as the Sherman. It doesn't quite have the rate of fire with the penetration, but it's always pretty good. It's basically just a tougher T-34-76. But that's the 4th squad. Then he's also going for a lot of anti-tank rifles in general, which could maybe support an idea of counterattack tactics as he gets out faster, some kind of armor, and then tries to test the anti-tank rifles to sort of carry the weight. He's also using the conscript to merge with the penal troopers. That's also a pretty clever move. Ensures he can just maintain the penal troopers on the front line without necessarily having to retreat them. And there you go, we got a munitions drop in here for Fortune. Luftwaffe quickly dropping in crates of munitions, which will then probably utilized by the Luftwaffe anyways, which seems wholly inefficient, but I suppose in some ways very German when it comes to logistics. That's the way I'm occasionally known for logistical foibles. Penal moving up here. Light machine guns covering up. They're going to do themselves a bit exposed. So it's probably setting up for some heavy air support there. I mean, this anti-infantry strike could be quite useful there versus Artem and all of his infantry. Morgan is moving up to try and defend the drop zone. Rather exposed there. But at the same time, it's not easy for Artem to close in without taking heavy losses from the light machine guns. Interesting enough, Fortune is not trying to drop in fuel here, which you sort of figure. There you go, conscript merging with the penal troopers. Need to retreat the conscripts, pushing ahead here. Ooh, almost got them, but didn't quite work out here in the center. Conscript being held up behind heavy cover, and full retreat here from Artem. Need to retreat the conscript there before they're wiped. Artem getting out close to be able to call in something. Overall, it's not taking up. He's going for 5th penal trooper squad. That is a lot of infantry. That is a lot of penal troopers. They're being outmaneuvered by the 222. Seems to be leading a charge up through the west here. As Fortune strikes in aggressively, and he's going to lose the country. I almost think he's doing it on purpose, so he doesn't have to pay maintenance for them when he's got 5 penal trooper squads out in the field. Lastly, Artem revealing a cold and ruthless streak. Fortune here going for the Ostwind. Again, he's seeing a lot of infantry spam, so he's always going to counter it with the Ostwind. Thinking he's also got enough time before the opponents bring up any call-in armor, which is not a bad idea. And he's also going for the Pack 40. So he's clearly expecting something, but he also just wants to try and hit Artem's infantry pretty hard while he can. So there we go. Ostwind flak panzer arriving there for Fortune and Fatherland. Hitting the western point here to cut off the western fuel from Fortune's grasp. No, actually, it doesn't work that way. He's hit the victory point, actually. There you go, penal troops here versus the 222. P2S versus autocannon. Close victory 2 there, though, for Fortune's light Apache Speedwagon crew. We got constant penal troops up the centre. We got the Austrian flag panzer moving up. He's going to need a lot of anti-tank rifles. Oh, he's getting too close there. He might risk some satchel charge going off, possibly. No, gets away though. Still taking some damage there. P2S is firing from all sides. The Austrian is a pretty big target, so even if suppressed, they're not in a hard time actually hitting the bloody thing. There you go. Fortune's Austrian almost taken out. They're just by the sheer number of anti-tank rifles just blasting away at it. Oh, lost the penal squad. A bit of loss there for Artem. I mean, we managed that much infantry, there's only a risk of just losing units and stuff like that, of course. He can actually go for the K1s if that is what he wants to go for, but of course he could be planning here for the M4C Sherman. Nope, it is the K1 there for Artem. Clement Voroshilov, which was the previous Commissar of Armaments before he was replaced by Stalin. There you go, moving in the KB1. Well, he's moving straight to tier 4 there, forcing himself playing very aggressively in terms of taking. And he's still got a lot of munitions, he's probably staying up there for when he really feels like he needs it. Oh, he got the K1 there rolling through the center, supporting penal troopers, shooting and slightly missing. Ah, these fascists cannot do anything against the might of Soviet steel. We shall crush them, destroy them, annihilate. Yes, yes, Petro, but can you hit them?
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
And go rolling in the K1. Like a god of war, he does not care about the enemy. And he's taking losses, but there you go, Pack 40 out here for Fortune. Take almost done. Flak plans being repaired here with heavy work there by the Pioneers. We got air reconnaissance from Fortune to quickly assess the battlefield situation. That's a very slow air reconnaissance call in. I'm guessing he might have misclicked or something.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our
Alright, got it out. Stuka reconnaissance pass. Not exactly expensive, they're only 35 munitions. So right now Artem is suddenly in control of the battlefield again. He's got the tank, he's got a lot of infantry. Telemarches are down from Fortune is pretty good for him though, and the 6th Panzer Division. And there you go, we got the first airstrike in. The Luftwaffe strikes like a hawk. Machine guns. The most dangerous kind of hawk. Guns have been pushed back by the KV-1. And the Pumas in the centre meanwhile being finished off here with the Austrian Flak Panzer. Very good work there, a bit too fast for Artem to realise what's going on there. Grenadiers Pack 40 moving up there to support the Flak Panzer. So good. In the meanwhile, though, Artem is securing as much as he can, though he's low on victory points versus Fortune. Ooh, close miss there. And there you go, Pack 40 opens up the KV-1. He's going to need engineers to repair it, though he might be setting up first for another KV-1 heavy tank. To that, we just try and roll against his opponent. There we go, second K1 out there for Artem 89. You might want to grab the fuel point there as well rather than moving on to the next point. That way you get a lot more fuel versus Fortune. And anti-tank strafing runs now available to Fortune as well. Got the K1 ring up here through the centre. Can engage those Pioneers probably. Ignore them. Oh, there you go, the good hit, good hit. Up here fighting as well, we got penal troopers versus Ostwind. And we got from other Russia, they're being utilised, boosting the penal of infantry to fight harder, move fast and all that. And there you go, as soon as he's drawing in attention, 1K1 moves in here with infantry to flank behind. Overall brutal assault there by Artem, overwhelming Fortune's defence in a matter of moments. Focusing down the... Oh, we got Selchuk as well there. Pack 40 almost wiped. We got an airstrike hit called in on the K1's punched up. Very good work there with Fortune. Very good reaction. Air support calling this airstrike as well. Pack 40 there. Ah! Got the Pack 40, but nonetheless looking a bit ugly there. His K1s are barely operable here. Barely operable. His penal troops and anything just pinned down to the ground here. He needs to get the K1s out before the Pack 40 gets recruited by anything and even gets Panzer We've got the Ottoman rushing ahead here. Oh, he's going to lose a lot. He's going to lose a lot. The execution there was a bit flawed, but he was really close to actually doing some serious damage there to Fortune, possibly winning the game there. They said he's taken a lot of damage. He's still done a lot of damage. It's not like, you know, he's completely thrown away the game. I mean, Fortune lost machine guns, anti-tank guns, 2-2, and a bunch of infantry. Ooh, he's going to be straight to the Telemine! And kaput! So that was a blue engagement. We've got a heavy Panzer Corps up there for Fortune. He probably wants to go for the Panther that way, counter the K1s a bit more aggressively. A lot of engineers on the way there for Artem to repair his stuff, but he's short on infantry as well. So, again, costly assault there by Artem. Again, cost of defense for Fortune as well, but he can recruit the weapons where there's not really a lot for Artem to recruit, so in that regard, he's not too well off and needs to be a bit more careful. Again, handling him a bit faster with infantry and also spread out his armor a bit better, I think. I think he could have done a lot more damage there versus Fortune than he ended up doing. Also, his failure there to grab the fuel point has meant he just need to grab back the victory point. It's easily connected there for Fortune. So a brutal fight here already. A lot of damage, a lot of kills. MG42 number 2 there for Fortune to deal with the infantry assault from Artem. I think that's a good response. I mean, he still some time off from any armor. Conscripts, penal troops there attacking into the Grenadiers as they hold up on a small crater by the road. And there you go, forced away. Osman almost good to go. That Osman, I think, has been a pretty good investment there for Fortune versus Artem. Certainly proving they are quite valuable if well handled. Sometime before we can call in the next K1 here. And again, he seems to rely on just K1 callings. The one he's got there still left, though, is almost ready to go again versus Fortune. Going for another bit of air reconnaissance. This time a bit more down the middle of the map. K1 setting up. Osman here with infantry support attacking into the west side there where Artem is harder to work, securing territory for the motherland and liberating it. There you go, Flak Panzer doing a lot of damage alongside the Grenadiers, and another Pimsum squad wiped here for Artem. The casualties are beginning to severely pile up for him. He's almost got the western fuel point. He needs to upgrade the minesweepers and flamethrowers to counter any Telemites he might encounter. Artem, I think, should be focusing calling in a lot more infantry now. Machine gun under fire from the KV-1. 40 moving up. And an anti-tank strafe here versus the KV-1 again. Very good work there. The Kanonenvogel swoops in like an eagle with cannons. Doesn't hit anything this time around though. Penetrating it in the K1 part of Pack 40. Gonna follow up with a Panzerfaust there for the Grenadiers. They're good. Looks like we got another KV-1, but still not a lot of infantry for Artem. And as long as he doesn't have a lot of infantry, can't really control the field well versus Fortune. So he definitely should be prioritising that soon enough. And also need to get those conscripts out of there. Might be too late now, in fact. We got munitions drop as all of this is happening as well here. For more air support there for Fortune. And the 6th Panzer Division, he certainly understands the power of just having immediate support on the point here versus Artem's attack. Certainly had not had air support doing some of those engagements he probably would have lost. Second K1 rolling hit. Artem though still very short on infantry. Penal troopers, conscripts, shock troops, whatever it is, he should probably begin calling in, I feel. He's going here for the Osman. Unfortunately, trying to get him right in front of the Pack 40 here to ensure it doesn't get knocked out. Oh, he's trying to blitz the penal troopers. Quick hit and run there, sneaky. Very sneaky, and escapes it successfully with the Flak Panzer. Very good, very good. There's a munitions point here. He might be able to drop. There you go. He actually calls in an airstrike there, just trying to deny it, but it doesn't happen, and Artem makes off there with 30 munitions. 10k on attacking. Very aggressive play there by Artem. He still needs to be very careful though, and there's no support. He's moving up. The other K1 is dead now to support here. And he's in a fire. He's got the Osman Panzerfaust on the KV-1. Pack 40 here could be a bit of trouble. KV-1 number 2 there rolling in. Almost got the Pack 40 here with the first KV-1. 11 kills, closing in on... Oh, got it! Grenadiers that wiped, crushed, almost annihilated there. Another Panzerfaust. Grenadiers wiped. Full retreat here from Fortune's Grenadiers from the front line. Those getting closer to the Panthers. Got a lot of manpower floating though. You could consider some caches or infantry or another anti-tank, I suppose. Panzer Grenadiers here would not be a bad choice for Fortune. Bunkers could also be an idea here. Artem there pulling back the more heavily damaged one. He's still got manpower floating and he's still very short in infantry. That's every time there Artem should be looking into. But he's making good work. He's actually rushing towards everything here, using for Mother Russia to quickly occupy the front line. And man, he's also running out on victory points. That's often another reason to rush out. Still, Artem floating a lot of manpower. He needs more infantry to control the field better. To call in some shock troopers, get some conscripts, some penal troopers, just something, Artem. Fixing up the K1 there, of course, allowing to grab points. There we go, a lot of penal troopers there for Artem. Rushing for a point there. Air support called in on the point, just to stall him. Fortune not too far from a Panther there. Machine gun found the center, needs to suppressed. Pack 40 crude. Could have tried destroying it or maybe even stealing it or something, but we're too late for that now. Quickly flanking it with the KV-1 heavy tank there. More pumps there finally arriving for Artem and the 15th Tank Corps. And there goes second pack opening up in the K1 there. He's got the resources now for a Panther bar. Well, he's got the resources. K1 though, almost reaching 2. Need to pull back the K1 there. Also need to get some victory points back there, Artem. Fortunate going for the Panther. Penal Troopers Engineers there for Artem. 89. Panther on the way for Fortune and the 6th Panther Sean. Needs to get that K1 out of there, Artem. Victory 2 gained. Don't throw it away, Artem. And he threw it away. That's a definite waste there by Artem. In particular, not one he can afford when anything is this close. So that was definitely just really wasteful there. Also, treat those penal troopers. He's getting a victory point here and a victory point there, but it's looking a bit messy there for Artem. He might be struggling a bit under the pressure. And of course, all the air support that Fortune is calling in. I mean, in fact, might be putting some pressure on them. Artem is not used to, because honestly, you just don't get much clear air support doctrine at the moment. So I mean, if some play actually goes for it heavily, it can, force a player to have to be, a bit more cautious. But he needs to get the K1 back and actually also defend the victory points he has. I mean, he's down to 16 victory points. He does not have a lot to go on. Mother Rush again. There we go. Flank setting up there. Very good. Very good. Quick retreat there. Making good use of it. Need to get the other pins to put that down the south. And again, there's, I think, a lot of parts to keep moving from Artem. I think that's also one of his issues. He's just struggling a bit here with all of the moving parts. All the infantry sort of has to keep going at all times. And again, from Mother Rush, it does make the infantry just tougher, faster, and all that. So again, it makes it easier for him. S-Mount on the victory point there. Good work by Fortune. Need to grab the victory point though. Artem trying to push it though. Good understanding what's secured, but she's still trying to grab the point there. Got a Panther moving ahead, and that's going to be a problem there for Artem's K1 tank to deal with. He's going to have to saturate it here. Hope that slows it down, but again, there seems to be too much going on. There we go. Fortunately, they're making a mistake not keeping the Panther at a bit of distance there. So damage engine on the Panther. You just need to take a deeper move down the point there. Needs to get some marksman engineers over there. K1 more or less good to go there for Artem, but certainly looking tricky here. Fortune's Panther will soon be ready again to push ahead for the fatherland, Germany. Stealing the Pack 40 that way, that's not bad. That's definitely not bad at all. In this case, taking too much damage from the Panther's machine guns. There we go, good penetrating out on the Panther. Rolling hit straight at the Pack 40 though. Another point blank hit there though. Fortune needs to be careful he doesn't soak up too much damage, or K1s could have a chance of swarming and destroying it. Still not so focusing on the victory point there. Graham Neeson 1K1 finally on the move there for Artem. 89. Destroying the Pack 40, since now with the Panther, Fortune has less need for it. Though you could still benefit from a lot more infantry that way, just control the map better. Or bunkers. Instead we got a Panzerwerfer there, that will certainly also do the trick. And the KV-1 is on the move for the motherland again. Going to be losing the center being pushed back here. The K1 almost wiped out there by 76.2mm gun, and there you go, finally hitting the western victory point. You can also soon call in another KV-1 tank. Indians need to retreat, need to get the devil out of there. Almost got the victory point here. Panzerwerfer almost done there for Fortune. Almost done. Need suppressed here by the MG42, and we got another K1 here for Artem, but will it be enough? Will it be enough? Got the victory point there. Artem's position is looking a bit more stable now, but the issue is still Fortune's just got, you know, more machine guns and everything else. I mean, Artem might have the infantry edge again, but, you know, Fortune's got a lot of other advantages. Panther run through there. Air support called in to help deal with infantry around it. Very good, very good. Shots bouncing off the K1's armour. Crossing the engineers as they're pinned down. Too much for Artem there to handle. And I think his K1 actually hit the other KV1. Crossing a penal trooper squad as well. That Panther is on a road rampage. Panther fast there on the KV1. Able to penetrate, flank the Panther penetrating his rear armour, which is a lot easier for the K1 there. But quickly turning back to the front armour. Panther firing down there, crushing another unit there. Artem's assault is completely losing steam here in the face of Fortune's stalwart defence. Pack 40 turning about there, opening up. There you go, point blank, the pounders of the armour of the K1. Panther destroys one K1, other K1 about to go down here. And there you go, KV1 kaput, and with this I think it's safe to say Artem is also kaput. He doesn't have the resources or the forces to really challenge Fortune anymore, who has a KV1 there, well a Panther I mean, Panzerwerfer, and of course a lot of pretty solid infantry. Turning about the Panther there. Still got the victory point, but the Artem's just got to live to defend. I mean, he lost a lot there of infantry because again he's just, you know, struggled to sort of keep it all going at the same time, which Fortune did not. So in that regard, you know, just better micromanagement, but also just good tactics there and overall better force composition really helped out Fortune. Really helped him out. Saxo charges on the MU-42. Grabbing the eastern victory point with a few grenadiers. Troops massing for another assault there in the centre, thrown in, but there you go. The Luftwaffe reacts swiftly and immediately pins down the penal troopers, destroying their Artem's possibly last hope. And there you go with this, Artem gives up. A victory for Germany, a victory for the 6th Panzer Division, a victory for Fortune. Bit of a shorter match, but I still think, you know, pretty brutal and sort of highlights some interesting tactics. But also just close air support. I mean, you just don't see it very much. But Fortune, I think, really sort of made really good use of it once of engagement, because Artem, though, is an aggressive attacker. And again, had he, you know, coordinated some of the attacks, you know, early on better, I think it would have possibly won the game there. And certainly he would have won it if not, he had not close air support tactic to quickly just provide immediate support there to lock down Artem's assaults. But again, Artem, I think, displayed a bit more flair in attacking. Sometimes, you know, just bunched up stuff. He just was too easy just to hold up there with Fortune's defense. But still, overall, rapid, aggressive fight here on Halbe. But again, Artem would also benefit from some more early tech. I feel like there's some better utilization at times of some of his elements there. But overall, hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay and apply some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Dancing Cheese. Thank you for watching. Hope you'll tomorrow for another signing episode. And of course, a big thanks to all of my Patreon supporters. Of course, make videos like these possible, since without them, I certainly not have, you know, the time or resources. So big thanks to all of them. And of course, if you'd like to support me, you can either pledge on Patreon as well, or you can just, you know, give in a one-time donation in PayPal. This is Imperial Dancing Cheers. Bye.